to Navigating Neva, and I'm your host, Neva Nicole. And yes, tonight I am flying solo. Wes couldn't make it, but don't worry, his spirit is here, and his famous We're Climbing the Podcast Ladder to the Millions, like the Office Ladies or the Next Girl Level, Next Girl, the Girls Next Level. You can tell it's not one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, but that energy is definitely here. Every time we hit record, Wes reminds me that our podcast isn't just about the numbers, it's about the impact. It's about connecting all the people who live and breathe aquatics, the ones teaching, the ones leading, the ones holding the line when nobody's watching. So tonight I'm holding down the fort, keeping the same mission alive, real talk, real growth, and building safer, stronger, more human aquatic spaces. Whether you're listening from your car or the pool deck or halfway through your paperwork after a long day, this one's for you. And I'm not completely alone tonight. We've got our returning guest and good friend, Phil, the founder of SplashSave.
Hi, Nicole. Great to be here. Really looking forward to talking about today. It's definitely a topic that's close to my heart, that's for sure.
For sure. So tell us about what we're going to talk about tonight. What is in store for this evening?
Well, what we're going to talk about tonight is really how we can empower parents to be a little bit more involved. And again, that's something that I've been involved in here in New Zealand for a fair number of years now. And yeah, really can't wait to get kind of stuck into it. I'm keen to hear some of your questions and discuss a little bit more around how we can get more and more parents involved in teaching their own kids the basics.
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching online, I just shared on screen if you guys want to take a look or peek on there. And for those of you who are listening on in the car or at work, we have this on YouTube as well, and you can always find us online. We have Navigating Neva on Facebook, but online we've got up one of the flyers, and he shared it with a lot of people that are collaborating with Phil with SplashSave. But this is an online parent program. Is that right? That's what caught my attention, is that it was for the parents?
Yeah, 100%. So this is a really cool initiative that we've been running with you, Nicole, and really around the world, which is quite interesting. And what it's about is really removing the cost barrier. So as you know, we started off with a physical book. However, we really wanted to drive that cost down even further. So what we've done is transfer all of the knowledge, all of the games, all of the fun activities that are in that kind of the book that we created, and then put it all online. And one of the best things is we've managed to work with one of our global partners in Swim Australia to create some really cool videos to kind of show the parents what the different skills are, rather than fill it full of information. And then certificates are all downloadable now, the same as the cheat sheets that you can kind of take to the pools. So it really opens it up to being able to be there for the entire family for that one-off cost of $25, which, it's a couple of cups of coffee over the course of a month, and to me, it's definitely worth investing in your child's water safety, for a one-off low cost. So we're again trying to remove as many barriers as possible.
Yes, I love that. It's very simple, it's very practical and positive. So it's for first bath to age 8. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, kind of a child spends the first 9 months of its life, kind of surrounded by liquid, and then once it's born, the longer it's kind of left out of that environment, the more the fear grows, the more the anxiousness grows, and again, everybody that watches is a swim teacher and parents. The nightmare is the child that turns up on the side of the pool screaming and crying. So this starts from the very first bath, and the best thing about it is you can do it at home, bathtub, whether it's your home pool, a paddling pool out the back, or even taking them down to your local facility. It just gives the parent that opportunity to get involved in the learning, which is one of the reasons why we all do what we do, is because you see the child grow and you see, that achievement, and you've been a part of that. And as a dad, I love teaching my kids stuff. Especially when you see them get it and then implement it in their real life. So this is an opportunity for parents to get more involved with it, and it'd be less about a swim school will take care of that, and then we'll deal with it. because really it's the parent that's taking them to the beach and it's the parent that's taking them to the river. So the more that we can educate them in making the right choices, as well as having fun in the water with their kids, it's just a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a win-win for me. A lot of our beginner lessons, we see so much regression between each lesson because really in the beginning, it starts at home and it starts with your parents. And we spend a lot of time telling the parents, you can teach them, mom and dad are the first teachers, so it starts at home. I know a lot of our listeners are going to be listening and they hear you say it's an online parent program, and I think they're going to be a little intimidated and a little afraid. So I just want to hear you tell them we're not teaching them to be a teacher. It's a real easy to follow basis. Like they're not being certified to go and teach. It's just helping them guide their own kids, right?
100%. Everything is a bite-sized chunk. I think the longest video on there is about 2 minutes long, and that's it. And it's all done in a really friendly way. Like we're not there to lecture you. Like you say, I've been a swim teacher trainer for a lot of years, and the
Yeah.
manuals are that thick. That's
Hmm.
not what this is. So
Okay.
everything's really simple, 2-minute videos that you can just practically implement at home or
Right.
when you're going out to the water. Yeah.
Right. And I know for me, that's what I want to do. I want to say, hey, moms, dads, you can do this with your kids. So we have partnered with SplashSave. I have a swim school, Georgia Swim School, and my nonprofit. We have both put this together and we're pushing it out to our families because, safety does start at home. And I can teach my kids all day long. But if mom and dad don't know what we're doing, that's where we run into issues. And we don't want anything bad to happen. So we're trying to, reiterate that back to home. And like Phil said, these are easy things that we can do in the bathtub or in your little pool that you have on your porch or in your backyard. So these are not huge investments. You don't need to join a club or go to a pool to teach the water safety. Um, so it's taken away a lot of that fear or those barriers that I think people sometimes are so afraid of.
Yeah, and I think a lot of parents don't realize how easy it can be as well. Like it is just having fun at bath time, and it's just making a positive experience. And who doesn't love doing that with their kids? So there's definitely no fear or element to it. And the other really good thing is a lot of parents can't swim themselves or they're nervous around the water, and there's that definite barrier in place for adults that didn't get this opportunity when they were kids. But this is the opportunity to kind of put a full stop in that, because everything that your child learns will help you learn more confidence, and it'll make you a little bit more comfortable around the water. So it's that ability to get the whole family involved is what's really key to this, and it's all done in a really fun way. I mean, as a swim teacher, let me ask you, you always ask the questions in these, but
Yeah.
I mean, as a swim teacher, when you're teaching under fives, what is the number one thing you're trying to achieve in that lesson for every single child that comes through?
Well, I try to achieve play. I mean, happiness through play. I want them to remember and I want them to have fun and be safe.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's it. And that's what we try and do as swim teachers. But the difference is we don't know the child the first time we meet them. We've got to. Do they like Pokemon? Do they like Ben
Exactly.
10? There's been so many different things over the years, and but a parent already knows that. So all it is having fun with their kid.
That's such a good point, and I'm glad you said that for everybody listening to hear. You asked what we do, and we try to make it fun. I know I talked to one instructor, and she's got some stuff going on. She's all over Facebook right now, but she showed me all these pictures. She had like every toy. But when a kid comes to you, we don't know about the kid. You know about your own kid, but the kid will sit there kind of reluctant in the corner, and I don't know what they like. So it's kind of like a guessing game, whereas the parents are already they're already allowed into that world for those little ones, which is why they make they make the best teacher when they're little.
Yeah. And I suppose the other, we already teach them to cross the road. We teach them to tie their shoes. We teach them about stranger danger. We protect our kids in so many ways. And what this does is allow us to protect our kids in another way as well around the water. And for so long, there's been that barrier between the two. And all we're trying to achieve is just breaking that down so the parents are more aware, and be more involved in the whole thing, because it is actually it's a cool thing to be a part of, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back a little bit more to the program. It's online. It's not in the pool. We're never coming to the pool at all. We sign up, we scan the QR code, and it takes us to a website, and then we're on the internet to be taught, right?
Yeah, so you go to the parent portal, and then in there you sign up for the program. Like I say, for everyone that signs up, a free one is gifted to a community in need. I know that's one of the really cool things about the partnership that we've got, is that
Yeah.
everybody that buys local from you will be able to provide those free programs directly back into that area, which is really cool. So when you go to the SplashSave website, or scan the QR code on the flyer, that'll take you through to the parents portal, and in there it's all broken down into really simple, easy to use modules, from water confidence, submersion, floating, and then kicking. And then the end of it's got the more survival based knowledge stuff. So how to be safe at the river, how to be safe at the beach, what to take on the boat, those sorts of things. So the whole thing's encompassed. You can jump around as you like. You can start wherever you need to start. And yeah, the whole thing's flexible, and like I say, 2-minute videos, followed by some really simple activities and games that you can do to achieve that.
Wow, I love this. So, I was gonna say that it's like a board game, but it's not, because we get to jump around. We can pick where we want to start, which for I know for me, that's what I do with my little ones at the pool. When you said under 5, what do we do? I let them choose. I say, do you want to start here or do you want to start here? So I guess parents could be the same way. They get to click on where they want to start, and they'll complete all the modules in their own time frame.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. For any parent that participates, the number one question when you get to the pool is, "What do you want to do?" And if they want to jump in, let them jump in. You know, as long as you're in there with them and you're doing it safely, let the child lead the activity, because that's when you get full engagement. Like, that's when the kids learning at their best, is when they're fully engaged in the activity, and the more that it's the activity that they want to do, let them do it. And I suppose what the SplashSave program does is gives you that guidance to go, these are the sorts of things that you want to be trying to achieve from those games, as well as some example games that you can throw out there. And sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. But that's the joy of kind of young children.
So how many countries is this in right now? Or how many languages is this in right now?
So right now it's available in 3 different languages. So it's available in English, Arabic, and Spanish as well. So that was one of the big things with the launch in the States, is we really wanted to work with those Hispanic communities that really don't get those opportunities. So with the click of a button, you can change it into Spanish. And then the aim is that as we continue to grow and build, it'll just be available in more and more languages. Yeah, so that's where the language is kind of set. So
That's beautiful. And then you said how many countries? Is it I know we have it, the States have it, and then you guys have it. Where else have we launched it?
so it's currently launched in New Zealand, Australia, the United States, the United Kingdom, the Gambia, and Uganda. And then we're looking to bring some more countries on board over the next 12 months.
So have you reached more going digital than you did with your book, or is this everywhere the books were before?
No, so it's definitely enabled us to expand at that real low cost. I mean, when you were looking at shipping books to America, it was quite an expensive exercise, which is where we really got into this digital one. So what it does is it just means that we can keep the value and keep it low cost, and then truly make it available for every parent. So yeah, we've definitely seen an increase in kind of participation since we launched the digital version, and it's really cool to kind of see sign-ups coming in, kind of on a daily basis now. So more and more parents are understanding that they can do something about it. And that it's actually quite easy to do. So all it takes is taking your child to the water, and like I say, that can be done in your own home. So more and more parents are starting to realise that they can be involved in the journey, and that's where we're really excited to work with more and more partners. So people like yourself, people like Wes,
Yeah.
massive shout out from Australia as well, and Embers Aquatic. You know, they're all of those guys are really. There's many more that I haven't named, but yeah, like they're all jumping on board, and it's that collaboration piece. Let's all work together. Let's get more parents active in this space. Let's start building awareness from home, and we
Yes.
will start seeing a difference in those drowning numbers. Again, there's just been quite a significant amount of funding pulled, and a lot of it is because it's the same attitudes trying to achieve the same thing through the same methods that haven't worked for however many decades they have remained the same number now. So yeah, it's really exciting to be, I suppose, kind of at the forefront of all of that stuff, and really pushing that. How do you challenging the status quo, I suppose. And it's been cool to see how many parents are jumping on board with that as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. We're very excited to share this with our parents. I know that when parents learn to stay calm and model breathing and play safely, that they get to set the emotional tone and kids pick up on that regulation immediately. Sometimes they're in my class and I'm modeling it, but then when they play over the weekend or in the evening with their parents, they model or mirror their parents' fear, which means it goes right back to mom and dad again. So if we're not hooking mom and dad to stay calm and model that breathing or that play safely, you're not getting it. So Wes makes fun of me because I say the Trojan horse all the time, but I feel like your book is the Trojan horse, getting into the families, and it's teaching them like inadvertently. They don't realize that they're learning, but they are, the catalyst for their kids to teach them, and we're teaching them at the same time. So programs like SplashSave teach not just what to do, but how to show up with love and awareness instead of fear. And I do feel that that's the essence of the prevention program that we've been missing for so long. You've snuck into their house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. And it's funny you talk about the kind of the panic thing and staying calm as well. Because that was something that most drownings happen because the person panics.
Yeah.
The heart, they're getting dragged out by the rip, and they're not getting any closer to shore, and the heart rate goes up, and they get a little bit more panicky, and it's that kind of panic that leads to poor decision making, and then the
Hmm.
poor decision making is what actually leads to the drowning. It's not necessarily always because they're caught in a river or because they again, I know a lot of people. I've said it before on the podcast, like I've worked with Bruce Hoppo from Bondi Rescue. He actively takes people into rips because if you don't panic in them, they're really easy to get out of. Like they're not a death trap. They are easily manageable if you've got the knowledge and if you've got the awareness, and that's really a big part that we've missed, I think, over however many years. Is it's been very much about get the kids in the water, teach them the skills, and then they'll be. Whereas really, it's this stuff starts from home, like knowing not to leave your child unattended in the bathtub. A lot of parents don't get that message, and they think nipping outside to go and answer the phone is fine, not realizing that it doesn't take very long at all for especially an infant to succumb to drowning. So it's those kind of awareness pieces that we really want to try and jump in with, and like you say, it's parenting that starts from home. So it's been really cool to see you guys jump on board with this out the box idea that we came up with quite a few years ago in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really cool to work with you guys as partners.
Well, thank you. We are very happy to be here because again, I think it's the turning of the barge. We're turning the ship and getting into the families. And while we have listeners still listening, I hope, in addition to those kids at home, I think a lot of parents miss when you were talking about going out in the water and putting them in those situations. So many parents feel satisfied when their kid can swim from across the pool, and then they don't go to the pool again, and then the kids are older, and drowning is still the second leading cause of death for the older groups. And I feel they stop swimming. You're not ever taking your child out to the ocean or off the back of the boat, and they're not practicing where that panic and that fear sets in if they're caught in a rip. When we're at our big pool and we've got a slide at the bottom, we can turn on a slide, or all of us can create a current so that the kids can have that fear and practice in it. And when you're like, oh, well, they can swim, float, swim, or they can swim from the wall to me, that's not enough swimming, or that's not enough swim lessons to feel like your child's confident or safe. So you want to continue with lessons and move forward. So I'm going to say, for everybody listening, your challenge this week is, if you're a parent, you should definitely scan our QR code. It's up on our YouTube channel, but it's also on my Facebook page. It's on Phil's Facebook page. Wes, I think, has shared it both on LinkedIn and Facebook. It'll be in our show notes as well, but you want to sign up for the program. It's only $24, or sorry, 25, and that's, what it costs to go out to dinner, but it could literally save a life. So that's my call to
Yeah,
action for you.
good call to action.
It is. It is. I feel like, even the aquatic coaches and the managers out there, they should collaborate, just as, I've done it. I don't know how many other people in the states you're working with, but we need to spread awareness everywhere, especially you mentioned cutting funding. It's almost not ironic, but good timing on your part that our funding was cut, because this is a great time to look for other options. What are you going to do? And people keep complaining, and some people complain, and some people do, and I'm of course doing. So while some are still upset that the funding is cut, there's tons of people across the United States that are still making traction and still trying to climb that mountain. So if you guys are looking for, an avenue to drowning prevention, this is it. You partner with SplashSave and you partner with Phil, you're getting into the homes and you're educating the parents and you're educating the children, and this is how we change the drowning statistics.
And those guys that are in the industry as well, yeah, like, collaboration is at the heart of everything we do. I've been in this industry for too long to want to fight with others, and we can really bespoke the program to the local area as well. Obviously, there's a partnership that we've got where all of the free ones will go straight back into your community, which is really cool. But we also do a lot of work where we can train teachers in how to run parent sessions, so it's kind of a little bit more open and a little bit cheaper for the families, because there's so many different applications and way that this can work. And we're really open to, number one, learning about your community. So we don't go in with any preconceived ideas. We want to know what your community needs, and then once we know what your community needs, then we can come up with a bespoke partnership that really works on both sides. So yeah, I mean, anybody that's watching, the more parents that we can reach, the lower the drowning statistics are, but the more people there are using your facilities, the more people there are booking into your Learn to Swim, and the more people there are booking into your gym memberships as well. So we've designed it as a win-win-win for everybody. So if you are thinking things need to be done differently, we're always here to help, and always keen to jump on board with all new partnerships and really drive into the heart of communities, because that's how we'll solve the drowning.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Well, Phil, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and I appreciate you joining, and we'll have you back again next month, which is the year's almost up. Um, yeah, but we'll bring you back on, and hopefully Wes will be feeling better and join us as well. So thank you for coming, and everybody,
No,
thank you for listening.
thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Always good to catch up.
And to everybody listening, if you guys can make a difference today, you can share this episode and you can share our link. You could be the reason that one more family feels safer in, on, and around the water. And thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you again next week.